Hey guys, if you can make sure that you like and subscribe down at the bottom, leave any questions or comments about the video. Today I wanted to talk about kind of a different topic. I wanted to talk about OCD's ability to really move around and try to find new ways to grab you. And then I at the same time talk about how its ability to be super elusive and almost make you believe almost anything, or trick you to believe that you don't know something. Perfectly good example for me. I've had lots of times or periods where I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on reality, as well as when it came to what I feel like I knew about OCD, and even after periods of time, you know. I would have times that would come up that throughout my recovery, for example, I had one time where I was in a relationship with a girl and I just was like, oh, I don't even love her, I don't care about her, I don't like her, I don't want anything to do with her. And the more I tried to really find those feelings, the more it really disappeared, right? And the more you try to have certainty to have those feelings, the more that it continues to be elusive. And as soon as you walk away, or not walk away, but as soon as you stop and allow yourself to accept that even if you didn't, that it wouldn't really matter, that you could be happy even if you didn't have those feelings or emotions, then eventually the emotions came, right? Which I did obviously love and care about that person. And then another example, I had a time where I had some businesses that I was running that weren't doing super good because COVID hit and everything just kind of tanked. So I had a period of time where when it came to those businesses, my brain was literally telling me, run away, quit your job, don't do any of this. And really just, and the day before I was like, oh, I've got this, not a big deal, I can figure this out. And then the very next day it was like, oh, I don't know anything, and how am I going to get this done? And the day before, super sure, right? Ended up just facing my fears, being uncomfortable and dealing with it, and coming to the reality that I had some main fears there. One of the biggest fears was I was afraid of something happening to my father because he worked for me. And I was like, well, how was my dad going to be able to pay his bills? Because I've been helping him with these businesses through COVID. And I was like, well, my dad's an intelligent and capable person and can probably end up figuring it out. And if he doesn't, I mean, it's not the end of the world, my dad's an adult and it's not my responsibility to take care of him. And I had a lot of other employees that I was worried about and their families. And I really had to walk myself through those processes that, they would be fine, even if they couldn't find jobs immediately. Like, they were all capable people and intelligent, and sometimes businesses fail, right? And once I was able to come to that conclusion and really find what that fear was and work through it, I was able to, not have that irrational belief that was happening, right? Now, I've even had times where I felt like I really, really, I understand OCD very well and how it works. And let's say I have, a thing that happens for a few days where I have body sensations or thought, intrusive thoughts. And my brain will literally tell me that I be like, oh, you don't know anything, that nothing is true, that you're wrong, that you need to try to do all these compulsions, you need to go out for reassurance. And it's pretty interesting. Now it's almost like blind faith, because I know it's just a thing that's happening. It's a compulsion. So and now I really understand it, and it took me time to get there, right? Now, and the other thing about OCD is the thing about it is it's gonna always find a way to come back. It's gonna always find a way to come back. If you don't look at all the fears in your life, not look at compulsively, but what's gonna happen is it is like an onion. Recovery is an onion. Rob said it before. You peel away a layer. It's like, oh, here's a big layer, right? Well, then you're like, oh, I'm good. Then, oh, crap. there's another layer, right? Then you keep going down, you keep going down, you keep going down, and eventually there's these little bitty little layers, and they're little lessons because you've gotten rid of most of it, right? And that's how it works over time, right? So I, for me, for example, my biggest one was I was afraid of um, not having panic attacks, right? I was afraid of having a panic attack that would cause me to have a seizure, because if I had a seizure, then, sorry, my nose itches really bad. Holy crap, my allergies are terrible. I would have a seizure, and then, that seizure would cause me to end up freaking out and wanting to kill myself. And that's, an irrational belief, obviously. Magical thinking, OCD, so with sensory motor, and also panic attack disorder, right? There's a lot of irrational things going on there. And so once I got rid of that, then it went to, oh, you're worried about your breathing all the time, because if you don't focus on your breathing, you're not going to be able to breathe, and then you're going to die, right? And then eventually I had to really look at life, and I had to understand life and accept that even though if I was to, let's say, not be able to breathe, then I would just die and it wouldn't really matter. That's the first thing, because I didn't really worry about living before I was alive, honestly. When I'm dead, I'm not going to worry about being alive either. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing for me. And then I looked at a lot of automatic processes, and with life, it's like I can't get mad about the sun going up and going down. It's a sensory motor. It's an automatic process. And for some people that might be a reassurance thing. You're like, oh, it's automatic. It's okay. You'll be fine. But once I moved past that, then I went to focusing on my saliva, right? And I was working on these core fears, oh, I focus on my saliva all the time, it's going to hurt my stomach, I'm not going to be able to stop focusing on it. With the sensory motor, it was really just fear that it was going to continue and it was going to always happen and then ruin my life. And then once I really started working on a lot of that, then it moved to ROCD, with relationships. I've had some things with pornography, things like that, and it moved more towards that, and then I had to work through that, and then so what I'm kind of just trying to get to is OCD is going to always try to find a way, right? And you're going to have to go through and understand those layers. And those layers are what's going to create the building block that you're going to need. And what it's going to come down to is your core fears, your core beliefs. That is the thing that is what is driving the fear. That's driving OCD to have the ability to get in there and sink its teeth, right? And and every time one of those things comes up, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to look at something new, which is really amazing, it's one of those things where there's always going to be a layer, right? And then also, you have OCD, and there's just going to be times where things just happen and they're kind of out of your control because you have a mental disorder, and the biggest thing that I really want to just emphasize here is that it's really your core fear that needs to be worked on in multiple aspects of your life to make it so eventually OCD doesn't have the ability to cling on the way it does. That's really what it is, and just becoming more rational over time. So anyways, well, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.